everyone, I am Lynn, and today I'm going to do a little bit longer of a post than I normally do, and I'm going to focus on what I see upcoming for 2023. And originally, I didn't know if I was going to do a 2023 prediction post because toward the end of last year, I wanted to start focusing more on the positive. There's so much doom and gloom in our world. I really wanted to try to, at least from my blog and the community, look for something a little more interesting, go into more of the mysteries, mysteries, and all that. But nonetheless, it is important, and it is our reality. It's our life every day, and we are living it. So with all your emails and all your questions, I decided, okay, we're going to approach this. So the best way that I felt to do this was to break it down into different sections. And by doing so, what I'll do is I have different categories, and I will go through each category and share with you what it is that I see emerging in the upcoming year. So the first category I wanted to look at was health. And I don't know, there's a weird shadow on me right here. It looks like I have this spot on my face, which I don't. But okay, so health. Ultimately, I do not see this beer bug thing going away, but I do see it continuing to lose its effectiveness. With every bit we move forward, I see people being less and less afraid of the beer bug, probably more so afraid of the shot than the bug itself. But there's still going to be the propagation of fear out there, so I fully prepared to see that. I do get that a new illness is going to emerge, but there's going to be this truth in plain sight event that happens. I couldn't quite tell if it was something in the media, some kind of a speech, some kind of an announcement. Maybe they're going to say, hey, we're going to do a drill here. But I fully get that it will be a truth in plain sight event regarding a new illness. And within 3 to 6 months of that, we're going to start to see that come about. They proved that they could do it once, but they have to change it up and make it a little more scary and release something else if they want to really truly keep the fear of all of that out there. I see there's going to be a huge push to incorporate even more shots in the childhood requirements. And I'm trying to say it without actually saying it, because I know certain words get flagged and certain, videos get banned. But I think you all know what I'm trying to say here. So the childhood requirements for school, they're going to up the ante on that to try to get more and more things in our kids. As a result, more and more childhood illnesses. But the media is going to dodge this observation. It's going to be very blatant, very obvious to people that are looking at it and looking at the data, but I do see that happening. I get that deaths of all ages are going to be on the rise, and this is related to the fourth shot. However, only those that practice critical thinking are going to accept this truth. I do not see that stopping. So I do see more and more unusual, sudden deaths. Now, it used to be you would hear about childhood or young adult, car accident or some tragic event or tragic illness, but it's going to be more and more common, almost normalized, and I just see more of that happening. Okay, I want to switch gears here, kind of look at some economy things. What do I see going on with economy? I get there's going to be a further division of wealth. The middle class is declining, and I get that more and more a two-class system is going to emerge. And this plan's been in place for a while now, folks, but it's going to be a lot more evident in the upcoming year. I see small businesses having a really tough time competing with larger chains, the Walmarts and the big box stores that are out there, big companies, all that. And a lot of small businesses are going to close as a result. As inflation hits and the cost of goods increase, it creates just huge challenges all the way around for anybody else to try to emerge in this market. I get that by design, when all this beer bug stuff started and they were giving out money and handouts and people that needed it legit because of just different situations. Maybe they couldn't go to work or any of that kind of thing. I get that financial relief. Now the true intended consequence of that is going to be realized. And I see a couple different things happening here. One, people decided they're not going to go back to work. They learned to do with less. And in many instances, people that were furloughed or quit or forced to quit or any of that, they've learned how to reallocate their funds, even if they're struggling, and they're not going to go back. I get that people took relief money, got used to spending it, and some people incurred a lot of debt as a result. And now it's time to pay up, and people have to sell, repo, or go bankrupt. So I see some financial consequences as a result of that too. The other thing that I saw emerge because of this is businesses, they cannot get workers. Therefore, minimum wage continues to climb, trying to entice people to get back to work. But as prices go up and wages increase, the quality of service declines. No workers, or just the worker burnout of those people who are left, they just can't sustain because they can't provide the quality of work at the price that people can continue to afford to do it. Sure, certain people are going to just bite the bullet and continue on like normal, but a huge patronage decline is going to happen, because if you think about it, you can increase wages, which translates into increased prices. You can have maybe smaller portions of food, for example, at a restaurant or something like that. But then when you combine that with the decrease in service, maybe you have to wait forever to get waited on, maybe, you know, all that. You can't have things coming at you from three angles. You can't have increased wages, bad service, and a decline in your product. You cannot sustain if you're doing all three, and most places are doing that and just hoping people will take it, but people more and more are checking out. You have to see if that's true for you, but I definitely see it in my area, and myself included. I almost never go out to eat anymore because I refuse to pay increased prices for less quality food and terrible service. You can pick one of the three, but you can't have all three. Okay, so I get inflation is going to continue, so prepare for it. To create a new system, these people, they realize that you have to collapse what you already have. You have to create uncertainty. You have to create fear. You have to have instability. And then it's almost like people are willing you to destroy it. And the end goal is a massive inflation to keep the wealthy rich, destroy the middle class, and create a lower class that's easy to control. The administration is on point in doing just that. You have to keep people suppressed in needing you. And by doing so, it's a trade-off. Hey, I'll give you this assistance, but this is what you got to give me back. They're trying to buy loyalty in these types of methods. Watch for electronic currency to emerge, and I get this is the year it's going to happen. The powers that were want to know what you have, where you have it, where you buy it, who you bought it from. They want to make sure they get their tax money for it too. They want some transactional tax. Most importantly, if you do something that's unfavorable, they can shut you down in an instant. Look at these different movements that have happened all over the country, and you'll have different point of sale places just say, hey, we're not going to transact money anymore. And then people are just left to be financially hurt by that. So when all your money is handled by electronic means, it's just the flip of a button, and they can pretty much disable your life. Credit scores are going to roll out in a subtle way, and I think that's already happening, but I think it's going to be on a more massive scale, and that's hitting the US, folks, so look for that as well. Cryptos, they look to be super volatile this upcoming year. I also get they're going to find a way to tax them, but it's going to be in a really interesting way. You know, that blockchain technology, they may not be able to go in and see what every individual transaction or trade is, but here's what they're going to do. They're going to put some sense of security in it because, oh, it's secret, right? It's super secure. But the minute you go and you try to transfer it into some kind of fund, some kind of dollar that you can spend, if you can't spend it in the crypto form, yeah, if you can do a Bitcoin to Bitcoin trade, carry on, that's great. That's the way to do it if you're able to do it. But as soon as you put it into dollars and you try to spend it, they are going to tax it. And I get that accounting and taxes, when you in 2024 looking at 2023 spending, is going to be a nightmare. I think this tax year you're going to be just fine, and things will be maybe a little obfuscated, maybe a little confusing, but you'll be able to navigate through it. But come next year, they're going to really clamp down on that. At least that's what I get. All right, looking at politics here, I see Biden either stepping down or stepping to the side. And I sense it's going to either be health related. Actually, I do see it health related, but it's not going to be the truth. They're going to say that it is due to a beer bug variant or some illness that I see emerging. But in reality, it's due to his mental aptitude. And we've all seen it. We've seen the decline. Anybody who's heard him talk knows exactly what I'm talking about here. And I get that they're either going to have someone speak on his behalf if he's kind of put to the side, or they're going to have very limited Harris time, because I got that, you know, they put her in this position. They sculpted her. They had her, you know, they thought they had what they had. But the reality of it is she does not portray or carry herself the way that the powers that were want. So that's why they haven't already put her in place, because she's not lived up to the standards that they want. I mean, listen to her talk as well. She says a lot without saying anything, and most times it becomes a giggling session. I'm just putting it out there. You can have your own opinion. Put it in the comments. That's my observation based on the things that I've seen. So I get that this whole duo between the two of them is going to be seen less and less in the media, and their handlers are going to try to figure out a way to put through their point without actually having them to be the face that's doing it. So I fully expect that as well. I get the situation in Russia. It looks to continue on, and this serves as a great scapegoat for the inflation we're having here, the interruption in delivering of goods and supplies, which also goes back to the inflation, fluctuating gas prices, deflection from anything else. You know, you need a news media story to cover up some other shenanigans that you're doing. Oh, well, there's some tragic thing over in Russia. Most times manufactured, but they don't care. They just need a deflection. So people everywhere can be manipulated because this situation serves as their all-time excuse. You know, this is going bad. Well, we'll just create some story over here. They don't even care if it's real or not. They just need a story. They'll create their own false flag just to create a deflection from something happening over here that they just don't want to be in the media. They need their talking point to override it. Okay, enough of that here. Cultural, social, what is going on in our world for 2023? This is a hard one to talk about because this is flag, flag, flag everywhere. But I see a huge blur in this area. I see the dynamic much worse in the population dense area. So if you're in the city, you'll see this way more than in a rural area. But nonetheless, it's kind of everywhere. We've all seen it. And, you know, we're headed down a dark path. People being offended by most everything because they're being trained to be offended. And they're trying to normalize mental illness, which does nobody, including the person, any good. I just got this overwhelming feeling that these people, they need some kind of love and some kind of help, and stop discouraging this whole body dysphoria thing that's going on out there, or people that maybe need attention, maybe their parents, you know, whatever it is. Yes, there are real, legit, true people that may feel this way, but more and more people are being coached. It's popular. You get special treatment, all of that. I still see that continuing to go on because it's working. Life's hard enough without having to worry about what animal you are when you wake up, what sex you are, what you feel like, what you're going to be called. I mean, think about when you wake up. My to-do list is, what do I have to do today? What do I have for work? What do I have, you know? I don't have to think about who I'm going to be or what I'm going to identify with. That is not a healthy mindset, but yet these people are encouraged to do it, and I don't see that stopping. And I get that the powers that were, they want broken families because broken families are weak, and when you're broken, you're weak, maybe not as financially secure, all those things, you're a lot more apt to need the system, whether it's protection, financial, you name it. They want it because when you have these strong unified families, they're a lot harder to reckon with. And if you take God and source, whatever your belief system is, from people, if you take that away, all things slowly fall, and they know that. And I get that they do what they can to remove that God or source from our lives. They start with holidays. You know, you can't put up a tree, or you can't say something because you're marginalizing people, or you're treating people special, or someone else is excluded. It was never like that before. Have your own belief. Do what you want, what everybody wants. Who cares what you believe in your home or what's out there? That is not a reason to be offended. If it's true to your heart, what someone else is doing shouldn't make any difference. If my neighbor has a tree or my other neighbor has a menorah, I don't care. That's their own belief. People should be able to do what they want without some government agency or someone telling you you're being offensive or not inclusive. That whole thing is nonsense. But that's what they're doing. They want to take God away from all of us. And so, you know, you start with the holiday thing. That's been going on for a decade now. And then they take away, you know, prayer in school, or, you know, all this kind of stuff. Now it's family, the family structure, treatment of others, morals, values, all of it's under attack. I mean, there's this huge push out there rather than, you know, looking for wholesome relationships and partners. People, you know, it's about body count or all this other stuff. It's like people have lost their virtue. They've lost what they want. And maybe that works for some people, but fast forward 10, 20 years and see what your body count's going to do for you. Hopefully you don't have a disease by then. I'm just saying it. And I'm sorry to be so crass and so blunt, but you guys wanted my prediction, and what I see and a little bit of opinion comes with that. Okay, so, you know, watch for more false flags tied to division, and I see it centered around race and gun versus no gun. They want the guns. They want to keep us divided. They don't want you to be able to protect yourself. So they want to create this whole paradigm out there that everybody's against everybody, when in reality, if we came together, we would be so strong, we could overcome all of this stuff. And I see something peaking in the summer to energize this, so I would look for some shenanigan type of event to be in the summer that will shine a light on this. I get that virtual reality is going to become more popular, and a huge push is people want to escape reality. It's almost like they're going to push people living in a virtual world versus living in the real world, because it's easier for the person, but it's also easier for the government and the people. They don't want you living the real world, living a real life. They want you quiet in your house or in your little pod somewhere where you're not interfering with what they're doing. They want to keep you asleep and not really watching what's happening in the world around you. I get AI is going to continue to grow, and people are going to be amazed how real this gets, but be cautious. AI doesn't always mean greatness. It means job replacement, it means military, and AI is fully controllable. It doesn't have the morals or the conscience or the guilt or any of that. It doesn't have any of the emotions. It runs flat out however it's programmed to run. So even though it may seem really cool or whatever, yeah, to an extent it is, till it's not. All right. Let's go to the housing market. People ask me this all the time, and it's just such a big topic. I wanted to address it. And I get that prices are high, inventory is low, but it's not always going to be the case. People keep talking about this crash, but what exactly does that mean? I get the goal is to falsely inflate the market so the average person can't afford a home, they're forced to rent. This is done by lack of inventory, inflation, and increasing constantly the interest rates. How much higher can they go? The government is playing that game. In the midpoint of 2023, the market's going to shift, I get. I see a lot of people are going to be forced to sell due to the interest rates. You know, you go and you get these balloon payments that come due, and the interest rate, it can double your payment, if not more. Or a desire to sell the asset while they have this illusion of the valuation being high. This is going to create a short-term dip in the prices as the market floods, but investors are going to be quick to grab it up. So those with the money, they continue to make money, and those that are struggling are going to be shoved down in the lower class and really be hurting. But that's what they want. They want the elite to get rich and everybody else to be subservient to them. They don't really want you independent, having your own thing, your own freedom. Those people are dangerous because they're harder to control. So if you're looking to buy something, pay attention to this summer when you might have a really good opportunity to do so, because I see that this trend, it's going to shift back and forth because they'll start this inflation game again. And the more investors and the more people with money that start gobbling stuff up, it's just going to get more and more difficult just for the average person to go out and really do anything. Okay, so I went through all this stuff and I realized it can be kind of tugging at you, a little heavy, maybe not even feel so great. So I wanted to end on a positive note, or something at least good to think about as you go into 2023. And I get, this is going to be the year of truth, people. People are going to wake up more and more than ever. And I see a light being shown on everything I talked about before, with cultural, social, economic, political, all this kind of stuff. The more ridiculous it looks, the more people wake up. So it's almost like they're playing this game with us of How insane can we make our world look and still keep people asleep? It's like they think that we are so oblivious, and some people are, some by choice, some because they are, that they don't want to see it. But the more crazy this world is, it wakes people up. And I get that, you know, there's going to be those people that take this information, take their surroundings, take their observations, and they're going to shape it and transmute it, and it truly is a game, to create something positive. And those that refuse to wake, could be fear, could be stubbornness, maybe they just want to stay naive, maybe they like their little bubble they're in. People have all kinds of reasons for either really challenging what's going on around them or just taking it and trying to ignore it. So you're going to either play this game and create something for yourself and have this awareness, or you're going to become a non-player. That's the true division. Do you want to wake up or do you not want to wake up? It's not about race and what you identify with and all these other things. That's not really what this division should be about. We should be coming together as people and boosting people up and becoming better people. But the real division is, are you willing to wake up, or do you just want to bebop through your life with blinders on? That's really what the division is. And I know it can be frustrating, can be hurtful, discouraging, even feel divisive within families, all these kind of things. But just to remember, take some solace in the fact that God and Source has a plan for this, and every person is playing a part in that plan. Everyone cannot be all things all the time, and sometimes, honestly, it's the non-players that help the people that want to play the game to evolve. It might take that. It might take the frustration or the aggravation of it for someone who's actually very alert and aware of what's going on around them to continue to evolve. It's just like, I would equate it to, if every day was sunny, you would have no concept or idea of what it was to have a cloudy day. You wouldn't even appreciate the sun because you just assume it's going to be there. You would take it for granted. Well, I get waking up is kind of like that too. It takes people that don't want to play the game and don't want to wake up to have the adversary of the people that do want to wake up and challenge them. So our world does actually need that balance of people who want to make change and people who just are happy and content with the way things are. So remember that when you're frustrated, that, you know, sometimes you need that contrast in order to fully see things, understand it, and grow. And there's going to be people that wake up along the way too. They're just a little bit late to play the game, and that's all right. We're all on our own timeline here. So all in all, at the end of all this, I hope that left you feeling a little more clear of why things are the way they are. And I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. And me personally, I say game on, and who's with me? I'm ready to play this game and hopefully transmute it into something a little more positive for myself, and I encourage you to at least consider that as well. So I will leave you with that, and I look forward to your comments. Maybe you have a prediction yourself you'd like to share, and all those great things. Hop on over to my blog, check me out, and if you're interested in a reading, past life reading, Reiki session, coaching session, any of those things, I offer those on my blog as well, and I'm more than happy to help you get set up. So I will leave you with that. I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.